Hello everyone and welcome back guys to episode 39, season 2, round 15 of the F1 2019 Haas Road to Glory career mode, where today we're here for the Singapore Grand Prix. And now I'm sure you guys are well aware our track record at Singapore isn't the best in the world, unfortunately. But you know, last season it was, I think, one of just two mistakes we sort of properly made that forced us to retire and race. You know, just lack of front end grip, understeer. And unfortunately, walls around this place are not your best friend. But coming into this weekend, though, we hold our head up high after, you know, two very, very strong results in the last couple of rounds. And another upgrade going on the car. This time, the front downforce under nose turning vanes has now been completed. Coming into this weekend with just 4 R&D points. I think we're going to struggle to get another upgrade on the car ready for the Russian GP next time out. But I think we have still got more upgrades going on. We've definitely got another engine upgrade, and you can see that gap to Mercedes is really, really coming down. You know, the clickbaity title, you know, better than Mercedes now. That's going to be one for the near future as well. So I hope you guys are ready for that one. But obviously, like I always say, if you guys are new around here, make sure you do get yourself subscribed for more of the F1 2019 Haas Road to Glory. It's certainly been a journey so far. You know, I think we're now almost 40 episodes in to this series, and well, I think we're finally starting to see a bit of a turnaround in this career mode. But let's jump on then. We're ready for the Singapore Grand Prix, and like always, it's time for quali.
It's time for us to settle down and the drivers below to get fired up. Once again, welcome to Singapore as we get ready for the green light and the start of what should be a fantastic qualifying session. I want to talk briefly about the strategy in these qualifying sessions. Anthony Davidson, how can a driver adjust their approach to gain those critical extra tenths of a second?
Well, qualifying isn't about adjusting your approach necessarily. It's more about trying to repeat a low fuel run that you've practiced prior to this session. You're looking for perfection on the lap, and that's hard to achieve if you're trying something new. There are some variables that can stand in your way, however. Track position or unexpected yellow flags, for example. Coupled with ever-changing track conditions, it's important to be out there at the right moment. But as a driver, you have to try and ignore these distractions and just keep your mind focused on that one perfect lap.
So here we are then, ready for qualifying for the Singapore Grand Prix. And I must admit, coming into this one, sadly all the engine upgrades we've been putting on the car, you know, they work very well at Spa and Monza. Going to be a bit more relevant here at Singapore, and instantly going into qualifying, struggling a little bit with just the pace. They see me a big mistake actually starting my first lap of qualifying. Now, free practice has actually been in the intermediate conditions, so we haven't done much, you know, sort of dry running so far in this weekend, which certainly made it a little bit more difficult as well. But yeah, that first mistake in qualifying really did sort of set the tone throughout a lot of this session, unfortunately. As you can see, coming down in towards the final couple of corners to finish off my first actual run. Luckily this time around, don't spin out of the final corner there, but a 1 minute 35.4 is certainly not a lap that we can walk away with proud of there. Down all the way down in P17 at this stage of the session. We have, though, got a 5-place grid penalty coming into this weekend. We have opted to go for a gearbox change coming into this weekend. The gearbox was at like 68%, so I thought there's no real point risking it, especially around a track like Singapore that I'm not a fan of at the very best of times. I don't think I really want to suffer any more than I have to here around this place. So yeah, coming into this one though, we had gone for a fresh gearbox that almost ran into the wall where we binned it last season as we head through our final qualifying run in Q1. You can see we're still ever so slightly down at this stage of the session. They're trying to get the drive off the exit of the hairpin down onto this short straightaway. There you can see we are 7 thousandths of a second up as we head into Q3. We are going to ride on board right the way through to the end of the lap. And yeah, really struggling with the wheel spin around this place. And I know it's something that you guys always complain about in this series. I am still trying to work on it, trying to build up better setups and everything like that. But Singapore is so many traction zones, you're always going to get a bit of wheel spin here and there, unless I turn on traction control, which bring me back to F1 2016, that's what I say there. Through the final couple of corners, you can see we are now a good 3.5 tenths up as we head through the final corner. They've just run a wheel out over the curbs, and it's another pirouette to finish off a lap there. And well, that's going to leave us down in P17. I think we ended up only improving by about 1/10 of a second, so there was another 1/4 of a second on that lap just through the final couple of corners. Certainly wouldn't have got us up to my teammate Roman Grosjean, the AI. I like to think, you know, the AI, generally speaking, are quite strong around at this track, but I think we could have probably got at least very close to Q2 there at the end of the day. But, you know, with that 5-place grid drop, it's certainly not the end of the world coming into this GP weekend. It's always going to be a tough one here at Singapore. And, well, I think the best thing to do is take a deep breath and let's just dive right in. We're ready for the Singapore Grand Prix.
As the sun sets over the South China Sea, the sport that never sleeps is alert and raring to go. Welcome, under the bright lights of the Marina Bay Circuit, to another Singapore Grand Prix. It's a very long, very physical lap, this one, and really there's not much in the way of margin for error. So we have a bit of an endurance race for you tonight. The Marina Bay Street Circuit then has 23 corners, 13 to the left and 10 to the right, taking us a total of 3.1 miles around the landmarks of downtown Singapore. An average lap speed around here, just 107 miles per hour. Alongside me once again for coverage of today's race, it's none other than the great Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about Mr. Monaco. That was a solid result in their last race. Can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
It's always nice to come into a Grand Prix weekend on a high, but your expectations are based much more on your practice and qualifying runs. So it's the momentum from those sessions that they'll be hoping to carry into the race today.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. Great work from Lucas Weber yesterday sees him start from pole, with Charles Leclerc alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Vettel, Gasly, Devon Butler and Perez, Hülkenberg, Verstappen, Hamilton and Lando Norris, Russell, Sainz, Valtteri Bottas and Grosjean, Raikkonen, Stroll, Antonio Giovinazzi and Alexander Albon, Kvyat and Mr. Monaco. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
So here we are then, ready for the Singapore Grand Prix. Round 15 of the season, we have now reached the flyaway stage of this Formula 1 World Championship. And we head to the most difficult, draining, daunting, you have to be alert on a street circuit track in the world here. It is such an intense Grand Prix, and certainly a one that really does test you to the absolute limits. But we are then ready on the grid, ready for the Singapore Grand Prix. The lights are coming on now, round 15 of Season 2. And it is lights out, and away we finally get going there. Once again, a really, really long hold on this game. Certainly not afraid to make those long holds as we head down towards Turn 1. You can see everyone just concertines up just around us there. We try to have a look around the outside. Giovinazzi is, well, clearly no room given by Giovinazzi through the first couple of corners, like you'd probably come to expect now on F1 2019. The AI, not the most loving in terms of track room, especially in the opening couple of corners of Grand Prix. Giovinazzi, there was no one on the other side of him there. I don't really know what that was all about, I'll be honest with you, coming into this one. And I know I got a couple of questions last time out, as you can probably tell already. This is being done on the new patch. You can tell, you know, the Toro Rosso on the rear wing there. They've got a few upgrades, or a few colour scheme changes, even I should say. We've now got that little number 21 as well on our car, which is obviously a nice little touch as well on the Haas. And I think obviously the Ferrari now has got the 90th year celebration paints and everything like that applied to their car as well. So yeah, this is on the new 1.08 patch. They've only mentioned graphical changes. Whether they've done a few other things as well is still up for debate, as we now try to get up the inside of Danny Kvyat as we head through the hairpin there. A little bit of an interesting move, but we made it work at the end of the day, and that's the most important thing in my book there. So yeah, it's nice to see the new patch. There's, like I said, a lot of talks though about whether there's some tyre wear changes and other little bits and bobs that haven't been mentioned that have been changed. Just a few little things like that, and well, I think this weekend is, I don't want to foreshadow too much, but might show a few of the interesting changes that it seems Codys might have made, or perhaps I'm just really, really interesting on this game still is probably the best way to describe it there. But through the final couple of corners of lap 1, you can see Lucas Weber leads the way. Perhaps now I've stopped hyping up Renault again, they're going to make a bit of a return towards the front of the field there. As you can see on the minimap, Lucas Weber leads the Ferraris there, as Raikkonen and Stroll just all over the road in front of me here. We're really trying to, you know, sort of adapt to some different lines, see if we can find the grip elsewhere on the circuit here, because it is really, really difficult to overtake the AI on this game, as I'm sure you guys are all well aware. Very, very strong on the old traction zones are the code is AI on F1 2019, and well, Singapore is all traction zones. It's basically just one big 3-mile traction zone there, as we do go for a bit of a late lunge up the inside of Lance Stroll there, and my big arch rival Kimi Raikkonen this year as well. We're going to go for the full send on the Alfa Romeo man here, side by side as we head now down in towards the back little straightaway before the Singapore Sling almost actually stack it into the barrier there. We're going to try and get the run there. Raikkonen up the inside there. A Stroll, I didn't even notice he was trying to look around the outside there in towards that corner. Let's have a look at that from his point of view. You can see both myself and Raikkonen don't quite get the run off the corner there, and Stroll's going to try and look to the outside. Give him a bit of a squeeze. Like I said, I just wasn't really expecting him to be there, but we come out on top in that situation, and we now move ourselves up into P15 of this Grand Prix. So making some okay progress in the early stages of this race here. You can see already Grosjean even, sorry, 3 seconds up the road here. We really had lost a huge chunk of time behind these guys in the early stages. But you can see on the minimap as well, though, the AI starting to form into some trains. I don't know if Devin Butler had picked up some damage in the early stages of this Grand Prix or what had happened, but Weber and the Ferraris, you know, we've seen the Ferraris do this a couple of times recently. They just went in this Grand Prix again. Ferrari, you know, Renault on their day can really challenge Ferrari, but Ferrari seem to be a rocket ship week in, week out at the moment in this game. They really are looking like this is finally going to be their year in Formula 1 once again here. So, you know, hopefully, maybe I've got some Ferrari fans in the audience. You know, perhaps you're happy to be seeing this one as well. You know, if you are, give me some Forza Ferrari down in the comments section below. You can see already, end of lap 3 though, we were settling down into a good rhythm in the early stages of this Grand Prix there. End of lap 3, the gap to Grosjean already down to under a second here. We now have the DRS as well. There's a bit of side-by-side action, I think, between the McLaren of Sainz and Valtteri Bottas in the Red Bull just up the road there. And well, yeah, we were settling down. We were doing all right in the early stages of this race. And now until lap 4, you can see Bottas and Sainz still going side-by-side just up the road here, and this is really, really helping myself and Grosjean try to get in a mix of this battle as well here. Now, the McLaren is certainly a car that we want to try and be battling with. The Red Bull, though, not too sure if Bottas, has picked up some damage, perhaps. You know, perhaps there was a bit of carnage up the road in the opening lap of this race that I just didn't quite able to spot on F1 at 2019. But, you know, this is helping us out, potentially an extra position in this Grand Prix after a couple of really good high-scoring places in the last couple of rounds. You know, maybe we can try and continue on with even more points as we head through the Singapore Grand Prix. But honestly, I'm never too optimistic coming to this racetrack there. And you can see Bottas, though, does hold on ahead of Carlos Sainz here. And now myself and Grosjean starting to trip over each other here a little bit as well as we head now down in towards Sector 3 of the lap here. And just everyone now, you've got to be so patient around this track. If you get stuck behind a car that's a bit slower, it's just infuriating at the end of the day there. And yeah, once again, like I had to do with Stroll and Raikkonen, trying to experiment with a couple of different lines, you know, trying to avoid the curbs, perhaps get a bit better traction on the exits of the corner, stuff like that, but it just wasn't really working there as we head through the final corner of lap 4 here. And we're a sixth of the way through this Grand Prix now. I can hold my head up high as now onto lap 5 we go. You can see Grosjean still just a little bit of a lock up there through turn 1. Definitely starting to feel the pressure coming from behind him here, so hopefully we can try to get the run perhaps, or go for a little bit of a late lunge in the near future as well. They're down in towards turn 4, trying to get the run on the exit of the corner there, and just a huge big chunk of wheel spin on the exit. Not what we needed as we head up the back straightaway there, and sadly that would mean, you know, the rest of lap 5 we could abandon and just admire the beautiful minor repaint to the Haskell here. I've just realised that 21 is in place of the Stag logo. That's really shocking that I've only just realised that on this game now. You can see on to lap 6 now. Like I said, now trying to get another run on Romain Grosjean. This time around, are we going to be able to get anything on him? Just that Haskell. Well, we're in the same car there, but he's clearly running a little bit less aero here, and all over the road, Grosjean trying to slam the door shut there. A big lock-up as we head now down in towards the next couple of corners here. Side by side, perhaps we just about keep the wheels alongside there. And once again, Grosjean in this series doesn't want to give up the move, but we do get right around the outside there. Certainly a move that, you know, I can walk away feeling happy with that one at the end of the day there. And yeah, we now move ourselves up into P14 of this race, and it wouldn't take long before I was trying to think about where we could potentially line up a move on Carlos Sainz. So you can ignore the interesting run through the first part of the chicane there. But luckily, Sainz, he get out of the way rather nicely of him. Thank you very much to Carlos there. And we now move ourselves up into P13. Bottas, though, 4 seconds in 3 laps. I don't know how he pulled out that one. He clearly didn't have any damage on that car. He just went back up towards the rear of that huge group of cars in front of us. See, one of the Force Indias now has been able to make a breakaway from that group as well there, but it was still just Weber, Ferraris, Force India, and then Devon Butler, Mercedes, Williams, Red Bulls, everyone else was just caught in this huge train here. And over the next couple of laps, you can see that gap was coming down by a good, second a lap here onto lap 9. It was already down to 1.7. Onto lap 10, it was down to 0.6 seconds. We have finally been able to latch on towards the rear of this huge group here. And as we come through the first couple of corners once again, now we need to try and think about potentially lining up a move on Valtteri Bottas. A yellow flags are out as well. I think that was Antonio Giovinazzi, unfortunately falling to the wayside in this Grand Prix there. Not the ideal day for Alfa Romeo. Not a season really to remember for Alfa Romeo as well. You know, they had a couple of good results in the early stages. Raikkonen, still I'd argue, is one of my big rivals, but in terms of raw points, we probably now need to be looking at George Russell and at Lando Norris just in front of us here. But on to lap 10 though, like I said, actually purple in Sector 1 here, so still, you know, the team we're talking about coming in at the end of this lap actually adopted a 2-stop strategy. We were still going green. I don't really know sort of how or why, but we were, so I'll take it at this stage of the day here. And yeah, you can see onto lap 11 now, really starting to push, trying to get the absolute everything out of these tyres over these next couple of laps here, because they were definitely going to hit the cliff quite soon in this Grand Prix. There was once again going green through Sector 1 here. We tried to go for a little bit of a late lunge on Valtteri Bottas there. That was a bit of desperation, I'll be honest. A bit of what's it, as Martin Brundle says, a day late and a dollar short in that situation there. And sadly, that little move, the tyres would be gone after that. That would have been my one opportunity if I'd gone, you know, if I tried to time it a bit better or anything like that. Perhaps we could have done something in that situation. But the tyres, they were completely gone just a couple of laps later. Like I said, they really did hit the cliff here as we head in towards the final sector of lap 12. They're just running a little bit wide.
Are you all right?
And we're right. Of the... What's even happened there? Is that wall that ridiculous? On F1 2019, I didn't... I skimmed that one a couple of times in free practice. I'll be honest with you. What's happened? We break the 100-meter board, just pinched the front wheel there, tried to get the car on the exit. And I think I've just horrendously mistimed that by the looks of it. I thought I got, the rotation in the front end. But we'll have a look from the third-person camera there. You can see as we head down into towards the corner, we don't quite get the car slowed down there and just slew into the outside wall. And, well, that is us out of the Singapore Grand Prix. I completely even forgot about that doing the commentary for this race. But that is us out of the Singapore Grand Prix. I cannot believe 2 years in a row we have made a silly mistake just understeering wide. That is just deja vu. I cannot believe that one. That is gutting.
Another win for the team at Renault today. Really impressive stuff. What do you think it was, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition today?
Well, I know it's a bit of a boring answer, but the truth is they simply had the best speed package on the day, and a driver who knows how to take advantage of that. It doesn't matter how much time you spend poring over the stats and planning strategies if you can't keep the pace, and our winner today showed they could do both.
As we can see, it's time for the podium, and I can see the Renault team underneath our commentary box going crazy as their drivers walk out. It was a great win, and it means a great deal to this team. Let's have a quick look at how the driver standings have changed. It wasn't the best weekend for our championship leader, and their advantage at the top has been reduced. So, Anthony Davidson, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
It's got to be Valtteri Bottas, a commanding performance that I think had the audience's eyes glued to him for the majority of the race.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. Ferrari continued to extend the gap at the top of the table. Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
What do we have to do to finish the Singapore Grand Prix? Season 3 is going to be the year. Write it down now, people. Season 3 is going to be our year here in Singapore there. But Lucas Weber takes the win ahead of Leclerc and Sebastian Vettel there. Leclerc now starting to close down some points on his teammate in this World Championship. George Russell picks up a point as well for Williams as Lewis Hamilton down in P11 there. He's getting trounced by Pierre Gasly at the moment there as well. 26 points separate the Ferrari. Between the Ferraris as we head in towards the final few rounds of this season. Potentially Leclerc, but could he perhaps, hassle his teammate right at the end of the season there? Lucas Weber as well makes big gains jumping. His teammate Butler, Gasly, and Hulkenberg now up into P4 of the World Championship. And Ferrari still lead the way in the Constructors. No real changes in there as well. But that was a gutting way to end the Singapore Grand Prix. Like I said, Season 3... it's going to be our year, I really do hope so. But thank you all so much for watching this video nonetheless. Get yourself subscribed if you're new around here. And hopefully we'll get some redemption next time out at the Russian Grand Prix.